14th, 4 o'clock. We're in the Carson City Community Center Sierra Room for the Carson City Culture and Tourism Authority Board of Directors. Can I get a roll call?
Mike Jones.
Here.
Mike Santos.
Here.
Mike Riggs.
Here.
Stacy Giommi.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Can I ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge of allegiance to the flag
Are we on it now?
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
Probably can't see us.
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this time, the public is invited to comment on and discuss any topic that is relevant to or within the authority of this public body.
I see no public comment, Mr. Chair.
All right. Seeing no public comment, we'll move on to item 5, approval of the minutes, the June 8th, 2020 CTA board meeting. Has everyone had a chance to look those over? If so, if there's no questions, can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes as presented.
This is Stacy, I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. On to item 6, the adoption of the agenda. Unless anybody has any changes, I move that we keep the agenda as published. All right, now we'll move on to the consent agenda, items 7 and 8. Does any member of the board want anything pulled for individual discussion from the consent agenda? Hearing none, does any member of the public want anything pulled from the consent agenda for individual discussion? Hearing none, if I could get a motion to approve the consent agenda, items 7 and 8.
This is Stacy, I would move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Hearing none, motion passes. We'll move on to item 9, possible discussion and possible action to appoint one member from among the members of the Carson City Culture and Tourism Board or who is a designee of the CTA Board to the Nevada Commission for the Reconstruction of the V&T Railway pursuant to Section 3 of the Nevada Commission for the Reconstruction of the V&T Railway Act of 1993 as amended by Senate Bill 57 from the 2017 Nevada State Legislative Session. The term will be from August 1st, 2020 through July 31st, 2024. I think, Chris, you're going to help us with this?
You did the easy part for me. You did all the reading, so that made it easy for me. We're going to hand this over to Mike Santos because he's on their commission right now, and he can speak to what we're trying to do here today.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chris. For the past 2 years, I've had the opportunity and a good fortune of serving on the V&T Commission. I've learned a lot over the last 2 years. I appreciate the consideration in letting me do this. And at this time, though, because of some personal stuff and commitments that I have, I feel that I wouldn't be able to fulfill my duties 100%. And so I talked to Elaine, our general manager, Elaine Spencer, regarding this, and told her that I felt that at this time, Dave would be a good fit for the commission. I feel with his background in Nevada tourism and his networking that I think he'd be a great fit and a great addition, especially in this time, what we're going through with COVID and trying to come up with some ideas on how to move forward and keep things running. And so at this time, I'd like to nominate Dave Peterson for the position on the V&T Commission from the CTA.
Well, before I ask for a second, I just want to thank you, Mike, for all the hard work and the progress you've made there with the VNT Commission. I know that they've been pleased to have you, and you've been a great help and on that. And I'm sure, in Dave's behalf, that he'll do a good job. He has relationships with the VNT Commission and also with the Story County folks who work closely with that commission. So I would fully support Dave as the replacement on the board. Any other comments from board members?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, Stacy, I have a question if I may. Mike, do you know, is the mayor the designee from the Board of Supervisors? Mayor Kroll? Do you know?
I don't know.
Can you say that again, Stacy? I didn't hear you.
Yeah, Mike Santos, is Mayor Kroll the Board of Supervisors appointee? Do you know that?
Yeah, there isn't a Board of Supervisors appointee on the board. Oh, I'm sorry, there is a board, it'd be Nick. Nick Morano is the Carson City rep.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
Your question?
Yeah, that was my question. Thank you.
Sorry, I didn't catch the. Can I get a second?
Yes, Chairman Jones, Mike Riggs here. I'll second that motion.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I think you need to make the motion. Or, Mike, can you make the motion?
Yeah, sure. I'll make the motion. I move to appoint David as to the Nevada Commission for the Reconstruction of the V&T Railway pursuant to Section 3 of the Nevada Commission for the Reconstruction of the V&T Railway Act of 1993, as amended by Nevada Senate Bill number 57 from the 2017 legislative session.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Oh, wait,
Opposed?
what happened to the other motion? Sorry, I'm confused. Not sure what happened to our vote.
Stacy, for the record, we just needed to have one of you read the recommended board action as it was listed specifically on the agenda report itself. So Mike Riggs did the formal motion.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the other vote wasn't an official vote then?
Yes, correct. But we do need a second on the motion that Member Riggs just made.
I will second then.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Hearing none, motion passes. Congratulations, David.
Thank you. Super big shoes to fill, so I hope to carry on Mike's good work.
Thanks, Dave, for stepping up.
Let's move on to item 10, presentation only. Rail bike presentation by Mike Santos, Commission member of the Nevada Commission for the Reconstruction of the V&T Railway.
Thank you, Chair Jones. So I'm proud to present to you guys today our rail bike business. Elaine brought this to me about a year and a half ago as an idea to use the rails going down into the Carson Canyon. And being a bicyclist and being an outdoor enthusiast, I was intrigued, so we looked into it. And I got to take my mask off, I'm sorry. Suffocating here. So after a year and a half of discussion and going back and forth on how we were going to run the business and how we wanted to see it come about, I'm proud to announce that we have found a vendor, and I'll introduce them here shortly. But we found a vendor to come in and run the rail bike business. And see its success. So I'll give a little background here, and this is what Elaine wrote up as a business description. So it's going to be located at the Eastgate Depot. The rail bike operation will take riders on a 4.3-mile round trip into the Carson River Canyon via the V&T Railway Commission's canyon tracks. This rail bike business will be a new activity for locals and tourists to enjoy. It will be a major attraction for the area. The canyon route is very scenic and offers a variety of vistas, and the curved track will add extra excitement for the ride. Our canyon rail bike route is unique to any other rail bike operation in the West. Without giving up too much with what Freedom Bikes will talk about, it's basically going to go down to the Eureka siding where they'll get a snack and a bottle of water. The guides will talk about the area and the history, and then they'll turn around and come back to the depot. We want to include Lake Tahoe and Reno as our market. We're hoping that this is going to become a favorite activity of the locals as well. I think the marketing is going to be similar to that of what we use for the V&T Railway Excursion Train. And of course, we're going to work closely with the CTA. And David's been generous enough to help us out with that and getting the business up and running. The rail bikes will become a major attraction in northern Nevada. It will attract new visitors to our area and encourage longer stays for those already here. The rail bikes are growing in popularity in the U.S., and we will be one of less than a dozen operators in the West. And I think this activity, what I like about it, is it gives someone an opportunity to get out into our outdoors and experience the outdoors in a unique way. And the thing I really like about it is, when I came onto this board, I wanted to see us bring all of our, what I call our assets together in this area, our outdoors, our history, our culture, our arts, all that. And I think this brings it together, brings the outdoors together with our culture and our history. And I think this is going to be something that's going to work out for us. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you Freedom Rail, and representing Freedom Rail is Vinny and Todd. They're out of Utica, New York, and I hope I'm saying this right, guys. But they're going to talk about their business. We had 3 vendors that were interested in running on our tracks. And these guys came out and they put on their A game. They brought out the best of their bikes. They were excited. They gave us all a bunch of, they took us down into the canyons with their bikes. And they seemed real interested in the area and the history of the area and bringing this business to us. So out of the 3, we picked these guys, and we're real excited to team up with them. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you Freedom Rail and Todd and Vinny. Can they hear us?
Todd, Vinny, can you guys hear us?
Calling from, I'm calling from Mars. Are we still with you?
Can you hear us, folks?
We can now, yes.
Okay, good. It's great.
Wonderful. If you didn't hear, congratulations. You guys have made it easy because everyone's so decent to deal with down there. It's a beautiful area, and we're happy to be part of it. My partner Todd and I started about 3 years ago in this business, and it is a fantastic vehicle, as you mentioned, to introduce, especially in these times with COVID, okay? By the way, we take COVID very seriously. It's just that we've been together for so long, we're like family members, we're like brothers, so we're not wearing masks tonight. But this is a fantastic way to get families together, stay in an area longer, and promote tourism. So, you can get out there, and COVID's only, I hate to say, only helped this business because people are getting crazy staying inside so long. So this is an opportunity for them to get out there with their families or friends, distance, and most importantly, get get the beautiful sights in that you guys have down there.
Along with the history there. Amazing.
There's two spots that Elaine and us have gone over down in the canyon, another area that our team will end up discussing with all the patrons. Can we change this, Elliot, so we can see some of the faces?
There we go.
Okay, wonderful. So we want to just give a brief synopsis of how we came about. About 3 years ago, we were asked to do a prototype for a scenic railroad, and we ended up making one in like lap time in like 3 weeks, and we were awarded the contract. So we ended up putting some bikes out there, and Todd and I, who have other businesses, said this is a fantastic thing, and we started building bikes, and we like challenging ourselves. So this particular venue was very interesting because of the grade that you guys have. Not only is it beautiful down there, but it was challenging to come up with a bike. We're on our Generation 4 bike. This one has a pedal assist, and it's fantastic. We're actually redesigning an arm that holds a little computer, tells it speed, and it controls the speed of the motor. So it's effortless coming out of the canyon. So these are all things that we're going to introduce to the newest generation bike that'll be out there. So that's one of the most recent things that we've done. And we plan on being out there somewhere around the 1st of the month. And Lane and I have gone back and forth and discussed the quantity of bikes, and we've got merchandise that we're going to sell. So it's also the other end of the spectrum for fundraising. Okay, it's a profitable thing for the V&T, and people are able to buy. Yeah, Carson City and surrounding areas. They mentioned Lake Tahoe. I think it's going to be a fantastic draw.
Yeah, Reno. Yeah.
This isn't so much my opinion. It's pretty much historical data. Everyone who's doing this has been a big success. I like to think our bikes are the best because they're lightweight, they have a modern design, and the motors we've selected are fantastic. So I don't know if you have any questions that we can break down for you, but we're excited to be part of this, and we look forward to getting over there and starting up with you guys.
Mike, can I jump in for just a second? This is Dave Peterson for the record. I just want to say thank you to Vinny and Todd and the whole team when they came out. They really did, as Mike said, a great job with the demo bike. And I want to thank Mike Santos too, because he's the chair of the Rail Bike Committee. So he's been on this for, I don't know, trying to get rail bikes for, it feels like the whole time you've been on the committee. So we hope that he will still stay on the Rail Bike Committee and chair that committee and bring this thing into the 21st century and just blow it out of the water here in Carson City. So my thanks to Mike and to the whole Freedom Rail Bike team. So, but if there are questions, I'll be quiet for a second.
Was there a video?
Is anybody with us?
We're still here.
Okay, so Stacy, Mike, and Piran, are you guys able to hear and see?
Yes.
Oh, perfect.
Yes, I've been able to see the demo yet, or them, yes.
Oh, perfect. Okay. And with that, Lydia and Jess put together an amazing little, like a 1-minute clip of the rail bike experience based on the demo day with Freedom Rail Bike folks. So with that, I'm going to ask Lydia to play that clip right now for everybody, just so for those who weren't able to be out there on that weekend, you can kind of see what the experience looks like, okay? So Lydia, if you'll play that.
It's a cool little clip.
Chairman Jones, can I make, Mike Riggs here, Todd, Vinny, how
Yes.
soon can we start purchasing tickets? Because I I missed that demo day, and I really wanted to be there for that.
We originally set out to have the date as the 1st and then a rain date as the 7th. So we haven't committed yet to the actual date because we've got some logistics to work out, getting the bikes out there. So it's either going to be the 1st or the 7th, and Elaine can better answer that. But we're very eager. We're very eager to get started and come out there. We're going to be there for quite some time, and our staff's all been briefed. I didn't get in too deep into the situation, but our team will end up giving a briefing on COVID, which is most important these days. The bikes will be sanitized between each use, and then the same staff members will give a safety meeting, and then they'll get on and go down into the canyon. So, and it's a reverse application. We have carousels while everyone's getting off of their bikes and getting their snack from the V&T. They'll have our staff will be down the canyon, turning the bikes around on carousels, and they'll get a history lesson on the area, take some awesome pictures down there, and then mount back up and come up the canyon. Elaine and I are still working out some other little special treats that might be involved in that, but I'll let her give you those tips when it's time.
Okay, I got just one more thing too. So,
Time.
what is your guys' plan as far as scheduling or let me say this right. What is your schedule during the season? Is it going to be from June until October, or is this going to be a year-round type thing in the cold? Or
Yes, very good question. Very good question. We'd like it to be as much as possible, because with other venues, we find out that these book and people are disappointed because they can't get on them. Something else I didn't, and I hate to chop all over, but I'm very excited. We're going to get about 7 bikes out there, and then the following month we have more coming. And I think that's going to be your biggest problem is, just the
Being able to fill.
Yeah, the demand is going to be it, because this is a beautiful venue. So to answer your question directly, we're going to start out with 4 rides a day, and we're going to run it 5 days a week. Now that's up to V&T. If they want us to run more, we can. It'd be 7 days a week. We have the people to do that, facilitate that, and it all depends on the climate. I mean, we're New York boys. We shovel pretty much 8 months out of the year out this way, and we don't seem to have that problem. But we were talking about October, maybe November. So you know better, because people like to wear windbreakers and get that brisk weather.
Fall weather.
So I don't know what it's like in November, how cold it gets, but I would go if it was in the 40s. Dress up with a sweater, a hoodie, and go out there. So the answer is as much as possible, or as many weeks as possible. But we figured end of October, maybe 2 weeks into November this year, starting the 1st of the coming month, and then mid-April next year. So, it's the best answer I can give you. I don't know what Mother Nature does out that way, but our data tells us mid-April to hopefully mid-November. And then, we'll have more bikes so more people can enjoy it. Because I can't say it enough. It's gorgeous out there.
No.
It is.
yeah, it is. Well, great. Thanks for answering my question, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair Jones, if I may just, Mike, to answer your question, just to provide a little bit of background as we roll into August 1. So August 1st and 2nd will be sort of a soft launch. And then on August 3rd, Monday in the morning, we're going to have a huge media day. So we'll have media from all over coming in, television, newspaper, online. And then that afternoon, we're working with Ronnie at the Chamber to do the ribbon cutting. So a big event for the board, for tourism partners, the hotels, et cetera, on the 3rd. And then the plan is, as far the most current information I have from Elaine, and I confirm with Mike S., to go live on the 4th with being able to, to do ticketed full grand blowout opening that next day. So the 4th of August is the plan. But we will definitely get you on a rail bike for sure.
Stacy, I've got a couple of questions too. Mike Riggs was not able to attend the session. So about how long is the event? How long will the ride be? And approximately what price range are we talking about?
It currently stands, it was $47.50, about $48 per seat, but we're trying to, get families more oriented on it, so they're doing packages, I believe, for $150 with 4 people. So that's the price point.
And the ride is about an hour long with the turning the bikes around, the history lesson down below, and then the fetch back. So it's about an hour and 15-minute total ride.
Yeah,
Call it.
and we're still working some details. Elaine and I had a conversation about incorporating. I don't have my compass out, but when we go down into the canyon, we might come back and pass the depot and go to
The halfway house. The halfway house over the bridge there.
And because there's awesome history up there too that people should be aware of. So that might be incorporated into it, which will lengthen it. So I thought it was 22 to 30 minutes each way. So they definitely want to round it up to closer to an hour, 15 minutes for the whole experience. And again, it depends on how elaborate we get with the history. So we've got some fantastic people that are educating themselves on the local, and including some hiring local people. We have an employee that lives right out there that's going to be taking control of everything. So it's in the family.
Okay, thank you.
And Stacy, just to add, to clarify, the halfway stagecoach stop is specifically what Vinny was just talking about, and that's something that's just come up in, I think, the last maybe 3 or 4 days with Elaine. So, down to Eureka Siding, back up, past the depot, over the bridge, and they would end at the halfway stagecoach stop location and then do a turnaround on the bike there.
And I too want to just clarify the price point. And Elaine reminded me, it's going to be $45 a person, or $150 for a bike. Like if a family wants to get a bike, they can. We'll give them a price break at $150.
Yes, I stand corrected. My apologies.
Yeah, and I think that's, hitting that, crossing the bridge, I think is really, I think it's a strong selling point. I think it's a great view back to the mountains from the top of that bridge, and I think it'll be cool for people to be able to ride their bikes across the bridge. So I really would encourage it. I think that would be a really strong selling point.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. There's stallions, wild stallions
horses
out there. I've never seen anything like that. So it's definitely on the table.
That's it for me. Thank you.
Any other questions? Mike?
Todd, Vinny, this is Mike Santos. I don't have any questions for you, but again, like I said during the commission meeting, I want to thank you guys for your enthusiasm and bringing your bikes out here. And like I said in the meeting, the thing that I liked about it is you guys called it an adventure, and you lined it out from the beginning when people showed up at the depot all the way to coming back to the depot and going into the shop and purchasing merchandise. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys next month and getting this thing rolling. So thank you guys, and safe travels coming out here.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything. Very, very nice.
No,
Thank
thanks
you.
again. Great presentation. I think everybody's excited about getting this off the ground, and it's an opportunity. I was lucky enough, you guys let me take a ride on the rail bike and didn't make me pedal, so that was even better. And it was just a great experience and a great way to experience more Carson City and what we have to offer, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you
Thank you
both.
very much.
Looking forward to seeing you here
Thank
later
you.
this month.
We're grateful for the hospitality.
Next, we'll move on to item 11, non-action items, presentation and discussion only. Executive Director report update, David?
Thank you, Chair Jones. So I've got 4 agenda items just to chat through here on my report. Last Thursday, Lydia and I, who was awesome, by the way, presented the carriage stone marker concept for the Kit Carson Trail to the Historic Resources Commission. In addition, we had Bill Quenga and Terry Vance from Prison Industries. They're the ones who are actually designing the carriage stone markers, which really are pretty cool. So the concept was very well received by the commission. We received the conditional approval of the design, and then there's some small revisions that we're working through with their chairman, Michael Drews. And as such, Terry and the team's going to be mocking up a final iteration of that marker. I'll run that by the chair of that commission for approval, hopefully next week, if all goes well. And I plan on sharing that with you guys before the next meeting. I'll email you some pictures, but I do promise that we'll have it in the flesh here at our August meeting in the Sierra Room. So I still feel pretty confident, you guys, that we're going to be on schedule to have these in the ground, affixed in some way, shape, or form before Nevada Day. So we're still tracking pretty well on the marker installation itself. And we'll be working with Rick Cooley with Public Works on that part of it. So far, so good. I thought it was a very well-received presentation. We were able to also give them an update on the kind of the who we are, what we do. Lydia did a great job talking through the website and the brochure and the digital advertising that goes into marketing the Kit Carson Trail. So I think they appreciated that very, very, very much. So I want to give you guys a quick staffing update as well, and this relates to the multimedia content coordinator position currently occupied by Jess Wheel. After the June board meeting, Jess informed us for several reasons that she was going to be returning to Michigan. So she has been kind enough to stay on in a remote capacity at this point, handling all the updates to both visitcarsoncity.com and visitcarsoncity.biz. She's also been doing all of the editing, bless her heart, on all of the videos that she shot before she left. And then Lydia shot some additional video at some additional locations as well that we need her to be editing as well. So we did start a recruitment after she gave us her notice. And that recruitment closed last Wednesday. And so we've had quite a few responses, Lydia has told me, from people really interested in joining the Visit Carson City team. So Lydia's working through all of those resumes and then the city application, because we use the city system. Fully expect to hopefully have somebody on board next month in the position. So we'll keep you posted on that as well. Maybe we'll even have somebody for the next meeting and be able to introduce them to all of you. So that's a quick update on staff. And then I'm super excited to say that we have Mark Hoffman. He's the owner of Sports Leisure Vacations coming into town tomorrow night. Full credit to James on this one for working this relationship since I think maybe late summer, early fall last year. This company has been a priority for us ever since the National Tour Association trade show that both of us, myself and James, went to last December. So we've been communicating with these guys. We've had follow-up emails to stay in touch, kind of kept working on the relationship to make sure they knew that we wanted their group tour, their motor coach business here in Carson City. So during the pandemic, we've really been able to kind of share our challenges, and we've sent them small gifts, some personalized notes, because they're celebrating their 41st year in business, along with brochures of Carson City, and then some local-made chocolates as well. So they have made Carson City a priority, and we're going to be doing, well, James actually will be doing this on Wednesday, but walking them around, taking them around on a site visit to better understand kind of the projects that we have going on here in Carson City, because it's been a long time, I think, since they have a long time had Carson City as a part of one of their tours. So specifically, they'll be out at the Stewart Indian School, so the Cultural Center and the museum. We're working on the Nevada State Museum as well with Myron. So although they have sports in their name, I just want to be clear, they really don't have any tours that are actually catered to sports. So again, they're in Sacramento. They have been going through, obviously, as you can well imagine, some tough times. They've refunded almost $2 million, I think, James, in tours that were booked that have now canceled. Yet Mark Clayton and his team are still curating tours for calendar 21 and calendar 22. So we very much welcome their friendship and their partnership and hope to be in their product catalog starting next calendar year if all goes well. So no pressure, James. Kick butt Wednesday. And then the last thing I just wanted to touch on quickly and give the board an update is on the arts and culture front. So since the coordinator's departure here a few weeks ago, several meetings have taken place with myself, Chair Jones, the Cultural Commission's chair, the city management, board supervisor member as well, kind of chart a new direction for arts and culture in Carson City, and what do we want it to be, kind of working on strategic vision behind that, and how do we all work together to achieve that and have a nice relationship between all the vested parties. So as this process progresses, I'll definitely keep the board apprised, and I plan on making you all aware if there are to be any meetings where we're going to kind of maybe come together with the Cultural Commission and the city folks. I will let all of you be aware of that in advance. So with that, that's my executive director report. I'm happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Any questions from the board for David?
Yeah, this is Stacy. I just have a quick question. David, I guess I could ask the city manager too. Do you know what the status is of the applications for the positions on the board?
I do. So as of Monday, for the 4 spots, there are 11 people, excuse me. We could see as many as 13, maybe 14 by the end of this week when it closes. And so it's quite a group of people, to be honest with you. So several folks have applied for the hotel motel spots, the citizen at large, and then the other commercial interests. And when I spoke to Janet before she left to head out of town, she said there's so many people, it may take 2 meetings potentially, or they're going to have to carve out more time, I guess, on the Board of Supervisors agenda just to be able to interview all of those folks. But that's the update that I have for now. So hopefully everybody somehow could be agendized for the first meeting in August, but it may take 2 meetings, I guess, perhaps to get through all of those folks, depending on how much is already, I guess, on the agenda.
All right. Well, it's good that there's interest, and nice that people want to volunteer their time. That's great. Can we move the occupancy tax actual versus forecast?
Thank you, Chair Jones. So in your packets, you have the sheet, it's labeled Carson City Transient Occupancy Tax Actual versus Forecast. I am happy to say, you can see we were originally, very pessimistic, I guess, it would be the right word, in thinking that we would be down around 90% for April. In fact, we came in just under 69%, so I never thought I'd be happy to say we were only down 69%, but relative to thinking we could be in the negative 90% range, I'll take that, obviously, as a positive. And then what I would say is we don't have all of May's actual collections in yet. So working with Chris, and again, this bless Chris's heart for helping me with the lodging tax forecasting and getting all this stuff keyed in. We have been working diligently, in fact, through, I think, last Monday, with the actuals that we had for May, and just working on some trend analysis based on the properties that were missing, using their April numbers to project May. We think we're going to be down around 53% for the month of May. And then I did make an adjustment, if I recall, for June too. So we were originally thinking negative 75, and I have us being down at 50% for June. So I'll kind of leave my comments there just to get us through the fiscal year. And then for the next meeting, we'll have May. Hopefully we'll have a little bit of a read on June, and I think that'll help me and Chris to revise our July and August figures as well. So with that, that's my update on our actual versus forecast sheet. So happy to answer any question. I guess the good news is we're pacing ahead of what we originally thought we were going to do. And so I'm very pleased with that. And I'm happy to see a lot of cars in the parking lots as I drive around Carson City and to and from the office every day.
No, I mean, I guess being 50% down is not usually a good thing, but for our projections, it is. How about the transient occupancy report?
Thank you, Chair Jones. So in your packets, if you'll grab the transient lodging report. So this is for April. again, this is the most current month where we have all of our data collected. This is a difficult report, given the circumstances. We have properties that were closed toward the middle of March and obviously did not open up until June. So that really does mess up our top 5, our 6 through 13. So rather than try to explain this, as I can't get into the individual properties and on that level, it is what it is, you guys, given the fact that we're in this pandemic. And so I'm happy to try and answer any questions that you guys might have, but these numbers they're all over the place, you guys, from property to property. So we're going to do our best to try and, as we get more months of actual data, use this to help us drive our forecasts for fiscal '21. But because properties have shifted and moved into different groupings than they normally are, these numbers aren't even really comparable, regardless of the pandemic. They're not comparable to the prior fiscal year. But again, we want to at least continue to bring the actual data as it stands to you guys each and every month.
Yeah, I'm not sure until we get a little further away from this that these numbers will make a lot of sense. But any other questions from the board? James, you got an event and sales update for us?
I've been never so excited to speak so I could take my mask off. So just to recap, we try to keep everything consistent with the last meeting in June. What I decided to do differently was, instead of altering or modifying the Cs in terms of what was canceled or pending or active, I just scratched a line across things that are recent developments that took place after our June board meeting. So you can see on there that everything from the Downtown Revival, Triple Crown, Senior Invitational, Demolition Derby, the All War Sports Series have all been pretty much canceled for the month of July. The Carson City Hoop Circuit, which was the basketball tournament that we rescheduled from May to June and out to July, has been canceled. Speaking with James Johnson on that event, he's still considering potentially bringing this event in potentially August or September. It all depends on his meeting with his team and what they say in terms of what they want to do. But pretty much everyone else on this list, aside from that All World Sports Series there, has decided to cancel their event for 2020 and focus on 2021. The All World Sports Series that takes place in mid-July is one of the bigger tournaments that we do. It's a partnership that we have with Reno and Sparks. So they're really hoping to have that World Series in August. We've worked with the Parks and Recs Department to secure that date. And it does not conflict with any event that typically would take place during that week in August anyway. So it was a perfect fit for us. Next slide here. Continue on with the August events. The Outlaw Flat Track Race, Robert Hansen decided to postpone his event from August and just cancel it and focus on 2021 as well. The last one on this list here that is new since June is that Silver State Art Festival. That was the event that takes place at Fuji Park, and it's the gourd festival that they have there, beautiful gourds that people from all over the West bring into Carson City to have their event at Fuji Pavilion. Interesting enough, although this event is canceled this year, they have agreed to partner with one of the events that we have been working on to bring in 2020 actually, and that's our bike event, the second bike event with Bike Monkey. So they've agreed to partner together to have their event at Fuji Park, and they would both share the spaces there. We worked with the Parks and Recs Department and Open Space just to confirm that this was okay for us to do, and they've confirmed that. So we're looking at helping them promote and have a really killer event in 2021. So a lot of things have been slow on the event side of things, but we are picking up on the sales side. So the Go West Summit is on August 31st through September 4th, and today is actually the date that we can update our profile, and then shortly after that, we'll start preparing to put together our preset appointments. This is actually our first time attending this event. Last year, NTA was the one that we focused on. And this event here does deal with FITM motor coach, but this is dealing with international travelers from Europe. So that's the difference between this event and the next one here, NTA. So NTA is coming in November 17th through the 19th. This one focused particularly on tour operators that bring tours or do tours in the United States. And we are focused on trying to make some other partners, similar in the way that we partnered with Sports Leisure Vacations. Now, both events, this NTA and Go West Summit is a virtual event this year. So in the past, we would pay to go to the event and meet with tour operators face to face. This go around, because of COVID, they've transitioned over to a virtual meeting to where our preset appointments were to be set at certain times, and we would be having face-to-face interaction through the interweb to make these connections and make these contacts to try and pitch Carson City to people both in Europe and here in the United States. So the fee structure, I want to bring that up, is we usually pay X amount of dollars to attend the Go West Summit for 1 year, but they have, because of COVID and because of all the things that have happened, this actually covers our registration for both in August of this year and also in March of next year. Go West Summit is usually a spring event, but because of COVID this year, they try to postpone it to later in the fall. But our registration for this fall also covers our registration next year. So it gives us twice the opportunity to make connections with people with the same fee that they charged us. And for NTA, it's a similar thing to where NTA is different from Go West, to where NTA requires a membership fee that we have to pay for. And because of our registration this year and because of them going virtual, it also allows us to cover our registration for 2021, in addition to the membership fee being paid as well. So it kind of helps us in terms of the financial aspects of things, and also gives us an opportunity to meet and speak with more people. So it's kind of a win for us. Questions?
No?
I do. I have a question, if I may. On the cancellation side of things, James, I don't know if you're aware, but the Downtown Business Association rescheduled the Downtown Throwdown for October the 10th. So, providing we can get a permit, that's the date that we have on our schedule, October the 10th. So, just you might want to update your information.
Thank you, Mike.
And Mike, when we put the presentation together yet, we didn't know that until after. So that's on me for not wanting to put a revised version back out, but we will definitely update it for next month's meeting moving forward.
Sure. Well, actually, I should have notified you guys when we made that decision a couple of weeks ago. So my mistake there. You guys are all good. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for James? James, thanks. Tough environment to be in event and sales right now, but I appreciate the effort and keep working. Lydia, you ready for a marketing update?
All right. Lydia Briggy for the record. We'll get right into our PR report per usual. Obviously a little bit lighter, this year than most, but this month we've received over 250,000 person reach, unique visitors per month of 61.5 million, and a publicity value of 102,000. And then this year to date, we've had, really since last year, so we're now in a new fiscal year, but So far, we've received a 3.8 million reach with unique visitor per month of 714.6 million and publicity value of 620,000. We didn't have any FAMs come in June. And then there's links to our articles that we were mentioned in, our major one on Colo TV being the museum's reopening. So our marketing update. July has been busy for us, and I'm excited to start seeing a little bit of travel happening in a safe format. So we have a couple of things coming up. We had a visit from a family that we partnered with in the Reno Tahoe territory. They're called the Vegas Family Guide, and they'll be writing an article about their trip here. They had a great trip to the waterfall. They walked around the Capitol grounds. They ate at the Union. And had a great time. And she's got a really organic following, a really close-knit following of about 12,000 followers. So it was nice to see that she was openly, willingly, kind of almost last minute, took a road trip from Vegas. So it's really showing that families are looking to get out of the house. And so I think our campaigns that we're focusing on are to Nevadans and discovering your capital. And so this tied in really well. And then we have About Town Deb. Her name is Debbie McCarthy. She is kind of a mini celebrity in Reno, and she is the go-to person for what's going on and what's happening in this area. And so we're very excited to have her come on July 29th and the 30th, and she's got everything from Stewart to a special tour for her on Stewart previous to when they're opening, but also the Nevada State Museum and possibly the hot springs and sassafras and some great restaurants kind of sprinkled in there. So we've got a great itinerary from her. And we also have Jonathan Wright from RGJ Taste, who is a very well-respected writer for RGJ, specifically in their food section. And he'll be doing a Carson City food tour this Friday. So we're very excited to have him try. We have, I think, 6 restaurants on the docket for him to try in one day. So we're all very excited to, he's not exactly a food critic. He's really just there to share the great things that are about a city and about our area. And then tomorrow, on Wednesday, we have another photo shoot with Jeff Dow scheduled. So he did all the incredible photos that we have of some of the houses on the Kit Carson Trail and out at Sea Hill. And you might remember our show of his work last year, but he'll be back doing a couple of repeat things, but in the summertime, which I think that we definitely need because all the photos were taken in the fall. So he'll actually be at Stewart, which we're very excited to get some incredible shots out there with those buildings with him. We'll be at Prison Hill with some mountain bikers, which we don't have a lot of over on the Prison Hill side. We will go to Ash Canyon. We'll have some hikers out there in some unique spots, really showcasing that side of the Ash to Kings Trail because we do have a ton of the waterfall in that area. And we have a lot of mountain biking, obviously, from our bike races that we have, but not a lot of hiking. And then McFadden Plaza just looks incredible right now with the fountain going and all of the umbrellas that are out. I think it's a really welcoming, beautiful place to photograph in the summer. So I'm excited to see how that will go. We're going to be back at the Capitol building because obviously those assets for helping to promote the Discover Your Capital are really important for us. And the trees are obviously stunning. And we'll have more of the Kit Carson trail homes too. And obviously we've talked a lot about rail bikes today, but we do have a photo shoot coming up on the 23rd with Brian Walker. He's the one who took the photograph that's actually on this slide of Nevada Day last year. And he's going to be doing not only photos, but video assets for us as well, and some drone footage, and he'll be taking much better video than I took. And Dave, of course, was a pro, so we did the best we could, but we think Brian having more professional shots might help us out a little bit better to promote that. And then next up, we have our search campaigns, our retargeting, and our social advertising have restarted now that we are in the new fiscal year, and our responses have been really great. So we've been promoting the Discover Your Capital campaign, but also the Kit Carson Trail as well, just testing out some fun things with our Things to Do page on search. So we'll be retargeting people who actually go to our Things to Do page, which is one of our most popular, and we'll be able to target Kit Carson Trail ads and other things to do that are in Carson City to people who are clearly interested because they've been searching on those pages. And we'll be scaling back the July budget until we really get a pulse and we feel more confident that promoting travel is a safe thing to do. Right now, we're keeping it pretty local and don't have a large budget behind it. But I think once we get closer to August, we'll really have a pulse on, if crowd sizes will reopen a little bit further, but also people will just be out more. And then lastly, for the updates, we did a Get Virtual show with Getaway Reno Tahoe, who has a really large presence in the local area, just around Tahoe, a little bit into the California area, but it's really mostly around, Carson City, Carson Valley, Reno, and Tahoe. And so Gina Hill from Brewery Arts Center was our guest on there with me. And at the time when I did this presentation, we had over 1,000 views in 2 days, and I just checked before, and now we're over 6,000 views on their Facebook page for that. And I do have a little taste of that, which hopefully you'll be able to hear. It's a 20-minute show, so we'll just show, a few seconds of it, but.
Tricky. You gotta do a little turn, and you know what? It didn't even mess up your hair. That's amazing.
Thank you. It's good to be on and see you guys. Thanks for having us on.
So you're down there in Carson City. Like I said, the most awesome capital city in all the United States. And, we were really lucky, and we were able to go on a fam tour last year and see a lot of things that, quite frankly, I didn't even know about. But a lot of things are opened up, and I think you're going to tell us about some of those things that are opened up and that what people might want to check out. Because, if you haven't been to your capital, this is probably a good time to go.
I agree. It's a weird time for people in the tourism industry, right? We're not really comfortable promoting travel quite yet. But people are ready to go. It's kind of split. It's people who are, I definitely want to stay home and take the safety precautions. And then there's also people who are like, I need to get the heck out of my house and get my kids out of the house for my sanity. And so we're seeing both of those things. So we always want to promote, if you're going to travel, do it responsibly, bring your mask along, because a lot of things, as the governor mandated, you're required to wear your mask in public places. So, most of our city is open, which is really exciting. So a few of our museums are still closed, but we do have our two major ones and our favorites, which is our Nevada State Museum and the Nevada Railroad Museum. And they've got some interesting hours right now where they're open, Wednesday through.
I'll spare the rest of the time because it goes on for a long time. But that was just a little taste, but we talked about what's open, what you can do outdoors and really promoting that safety message. Speaking of the safety message, we do have a Visit Carson City Safely landing page, which is where we've been directing people. It's a snapshot of what Carson City looks like during COVID times. So what's open, we really promote the safety message. We promote the unique hours of the museums and the galleries that are open, and then, have a short links to our parks and our hiking trails, and then, what we're committed to as a city and as our lodging partners have also posted on their sites too. It's kind of a compilation of all those things. So as I mentioned before, our messaging right now is all about, safety. It's all about, we care about our visitors' safety and our local safety. And we know the tensions are high, especially after a holiday weekend. So we're being very cautious, very responsible, and, really not exactly promoting travel, but if you're going to do it, here's how to do it safely in Carson City. So that Discover Your Capital campaign strictly to Nevadans is where we've started, and then any digital advertising that we will continue to do will also help direct them to that Carson City Cares page and the Carson City Visit Safely page. So that way they're armed with knowledge, and they're not bouncing around our website trying to find all the unique hours that are happening, which obviously can be frustrating. So that's the things on the marketing front. So it's been a busy month, but which I fully welcome and very excited about, and excited to have some marketing back into the area, and really seen some positive feedback from it, which we're really excited to see. And I'll take any questions if you guys have any at this time.
Lydia, I have one for you. That About Town Deb and the July visit that she's going to do, is there, I know it's kind of close to getting the rail bikes kicked off. Is there any way we can?
We tried.
Yeah.
We tried, but they actually they probably won't have the bikes by then for her to be able to do it, but she will be coming on the media day. So she will be there shortly after that. We're hoping that it sounds like it's working out with their schedule But unfortunately, not while she's actually here for the weekend, but she'll be back.
Okay. And then just a comment, I am really impressed with the messaging on our website, and I think our visit Carson City couldn't come at a better time. It's a simple message, and I like how we kind of alter it to say safely, and that kind of thing. So I'm really impressed with how we've been proactive with all this COVID and getting out there and being responsible with keeping people safe when they visit our city. So thank you for doing that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
Yeah,
that
very impressive.
feedback.
Any other questions for Lydia? I would echo my comment to James that it's also a tough time to market. So
It
thank
is.
you. And I loved also, as Mike said, the safety message. I thought that was very on target. So thank you.
Thank you.
That's all Lydia, you guys. She comes up with these brilliant ideas, and then I just run around and take credit for them, which is so fun. I love it.
We'll move on. Any request for future agenda items from the board? No? Our next meeting will be August 10th, 2020, right here at the Sierra Room at 4 p.m. Any board comments or requests for information? All right. Hearing none, we'll move on to 13, public comment. Any public comment?
I see no public comment, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you. Last, action, a motion to adjourn.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
We're adjourned.